The political relationship between the United States and Myanmar worsened after the 1988 military coup and violent suppression of pro-democracy demonstrations. Subsequent repression, including the crackdown on peaceful protesters in September 2007, further strained the relationship. However, following signs of liberalization, the U.S. government began the process of improving its links with Myanmar in 2011. With improving ties in 2012, the White House planned ambassador nomination, the first since 1990. On June 29, 2012, the U.S. Senate confirmed Derek Mitchell as the United States ambassador to Myanmar. In a Gallup public opinion poll conducted in 2012, 30% of Burmese people approved of U.S. leadership, with 67% uncertain and 3% disapproving. The first contact between the Konbaung dynasty of Burma and the United States were the letters sent from King Mindon in 1856-7 to Presidents Franklin Pierce and James Buchanan. King Mindon hoped a bilateral treaty that would help provide some protection against British Empire. Massachusetts attempted to sanction Myanmar directly in 1996, but those efforts proved unconstitutional. Later, the United States federal government imposed broad sanctions against Myanmar under several different legislative and policy vehicles. The Burmese Freedom and Democracy Act, passed by Congress and signed by the President in 2003, included a ban on all imports from Myanmar, a ban on the export of financial services to Myanmar, a freeze on the assets of certain Burmese financial institutions, and extended visa restrictions on Burmese officials. Congress has renewed the BFDA annually, most recently in July 2010. Since September 27, 2007, the U.S. Department of Treasury designated 25 senior Burmese government officials as subject to an asset block under Executive Order 13310. On October 19, 2007, President George W. Bush announced a new executive order which expands the authority to block assets to individuals who are responsible for human rights abuses and public corruption, as well as those who provide material and financial support to the regime. In addition, since May 1997, the U.S. government has prohibited new investment by U.S. persons or entities. A number of U.S. companies exited the Myanmar market even prior to the imposition of sanctions due to a worsening business climate and mounting criticism from human rights groups, consumers, and shareholders. The United States has also imposed countermeasures on Myanmar due to its inadequate measures to eliminate money laundering. Due to its particularly severe violations of religious freedom, the United States has designated Myanmar a country of particular concern under the International Religious Freedom Act. Myanmar is also designated a Tier 3 country in the Trafficking in Persons report for its use of forced labor, and is subject to additional sanctions as a result. The political relationship between the United States and Myanmar worsened after the 1988 military coup and violent suppression of pro-democracy demonstrations. Subsequent repression, including the brutal crackdown on peaceful protesters in September 2007, further strained the relationship. The United States downgraded its level of representation in Myanmar from ambassador to charge d'affaires after the government's crackdown on the democratic opposition in 1988 and its failure to honor the results of the 1990 parliamentary election. On September 10, 2007, the Burmese government accused the KIA of assassinating a rebel Karen commander from the KNU who wanted to negotiate with the military government. For background on the conflict, see it is more fully explored on Namebase. According to media reports citing documents published by Germany's Der Spiegel in 2010, the Embassy of the United States in Yangon is the site of an electronic surveillance facility used to monitor telephones and communications networks, run jointly by the Central Intelligence Agency and National Security Agency group known as Special Collection Service. According to WikiLeaks cables, the United States funded some of the civil society groups in Myanmar that forced the government to suspend a controversial Chinese Myitsan Dam on the Irrawaddy River. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton visited Myanmar in November to December 2011. In this visit, the first by a Secretary of State since 1955, Clinton met with the President of Myanmar, Thein Sein, in the capital Naypyidaw, and later met with democracy activist Aung San Suu Kyi in Yangon. The U.S. announced a relaxation of curbs on aid and raised the possibility of an exchange of ambassadors. On 13 January 2012, the U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton announced the U.S. will exchange ambassadors with Myanmar after a landmark Burmese political prisoner amnesty. On Thursday, May 17, 2012, the White House press office announced that President Barack Obama had nominated Derek Mitchell to the U.S. Senate for confirmation to serve as ambassador to Myanmar.